Hey everybody, this is GGB. Today we're going to be talking about all the stuff that happened yesterday in college basketball, all the stuff that's coming up today. I hope you guys are excited. I have a chance I'm missing this week, so put a dare down in the comment section below. Also, stay tuned. I'm going to do a video debunking TPS's video about the 4 greatest quarterbacks of all time. I hope you guys are excited for that. I'm excited to make it because TPS is pretty garbage, and I want to expose their reasoning because it's really bad and they don't really go into detail at all. But stay tuned for that video. But let's get straight into this thing. In the Big 12, we had some stuff go on today. Baylor got upset for the first time this year. Lost their first game. Now they sit 10-1 in conference. If you actually look at their upcoming resume, it is not easy. And there is a shot that Baylor loses this. Like, Baylor can lose this division. Now, I believe they can get it together, but it's not like they have a walk in the park down the stretch. Obviously, Kansas beat them today, but they still have to play West Virginia on Tuesday, Oklahoma State on Thursday, and Texas Tech on Sunday. Now, they just have to beat one of those teams, but I gotta say, the way West Virginia and Oklahoma State are playing right now, it's going to be tough to beat them. West Virginia was able to beat Kansas State, and it was pretty much clobbering. I don't know if that speaks more to the way West Virginia is playing, or that Kansas State just really isn't that good. But I do think they've turned a corner in the last couple weeks, and I hope this West Virginia game doesn't get them too down on themselves. Kansas was able to upset Baylor, puts them at 12-6. Now, Oklahoma State has risen from 6th place to 4th place, so let's go Cowboys. Oklahoma lost today to Oklahoma State, putting them at 9-6, dropping them below Oklahoma State at 5th place in conference. And I'd like to say again, who the heck is determining the AP poll? Because I would have easily had Oklahoma State in the top 25 instead of teams like Tennessee and Missouri, who just haven't been playing well recently. It's just so stupid. I don't understand it at all. It's just, the logic makes no sense to me, but maybe that's just me. Texas lost today to Texas Tech. Texas is now in a deep slump. They're in a bad spot. They really have to figure out how to win because right now they're not winning. They're not playing well at all. And if you look at their upcoming resume, they get a chance to right themselves against Iowa State, and they have a TCU game on March 7th, but they also have to figure out how to beat Oklahoma. So, got to figure out stuff. Big Ten, not anything crazy happened today. Illinois was able to handle Wisconsin, although Demetric Trice literally just went off at the end of the game. Scored 19 points in 2 minutes. Last 2 minutes game, he scored 19 points. Insanity. But Trice wasn't able to pull it off because the guy that was supposed to make the shot at the end that would have tied the game just ended up not taking the shot because he's dumb. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. That was pretty stupid. But thanks to that, Illinois stays in 2nd place, and Wisconsin is now in 6th place, and Rutgers has a shot at reaching them. Like, Rutgers, you do have a shot at passing them. You play Nebraska and Minnesota. That's not a tough down the stretch. Wisconsin has a tougher down the stretch schedule than you when they play Purdue and Iowa. You can pass Wisconsin legitimately. Like, I think you should be shooting for 5. It's 6 in the tournament. I think that's a very reasonable thing to expect if you're a Rutgers fan. Moving on to the SEC, Alabama was able to hold on against Mississippi State, which means they clinched the 1 seed and the SEC title. Now, there are a lot of things that you can point to moving forward. They've been playing very well, but there is a problem there. I don't know. Arkansas was able to beat them. Like, I mean, they're not an unbeatable team, and I realize I'm saying this, but Alabama had a real problem traveling outside of the conference and trying to win. They haven't been able to do that. Arkansas was able to win today. Florida won. That's a good thing for Florida. Now in 3rd place in the SEC. Luckily for them, I don't think they can get into 2nd place. You just have to win to their next game, which I think there's only 1 game left for SEC. Actually, 2 games left. So that's not great for Florida. They have to play Tennessee and Missouri, although I don't know if that's that difficult the way they're both playing right now. Tennessee lost today again to Auburn. They pulled a stinker. Mississippi State lost. Kentucky lost to Florida. That's really Ole Miss was on the bubble. Now they're not. They lost to Vanderbilt today. All the bottom 4 teams, Auburn, South Carolina, Texas A&M, and Vanderbilt, all picked up a win today. So that's good for them, right? Yeah. Wait, no, I'm wrong. Texas A&M hasn't played since January 30th. They didn't pick up a win today, but everyone else did. South Carolina, Auburn, and Vanderbilt all picked up a win. Moving on to the ACC, Florida State played UNC today, which, I mean, today could not have worked out much better for Virginia Tech. Florida State lodged a win. You won by 40 points against Wake Forest. NC State was also very happy about what happened today when Georgia Tech beat Syracuse. Now, with a win today, NC State can pass Syracuse. I mean, that's good if you're a Wolfpack fan. Louisville was able to beat Duke. This really puts Duke in a predicament. I don't think they're going to make the tournament unless they go on to win the ACC tournament. Because, honestly, these are the teams that you'll probably have to put in ahead of Duke. I mean, you have to put in Florida State, Virginia Tech, Clemson, the way they're playing, UNC, Louisville. Because this is just all based on records and the way they've been playing. Duke hasn't been playing that well. They have that win against Virginia. You have to take Georgia Tech at this point, the way they're playing against them. Syracuse, I think you have to take over Duke. And it's at a point where I don't think there's that many teams that's going to come from the ACC. So, Duke really has to go and win the tournament. Moving on to the Mountain West Conference, Boise State did lose today against San Diego State. That brought them to 4th place, and now Boise State's on a bubble. You don't want to be on the bubble, Boise State. A win should be fine. They should be able to very at least get to 3rd place, but really sucks for a team that was really hoping to be 1st place in 1 seed in tournament and was really close both games against San Diego State, but just wasn't able to pull it out. Missouri Valley Conference, Loyola, Illinois won the conference today. I hope you're excited, Rambler fans. Drake absolutely struggled and lost against Bradley, which is a bad loss to have on your resume. Now, Drake has a loss against Valparaiso and Bradley on the resume. Not great losses, I gotta say. Not great by Drake. If they lose another one that's in the tournament, like if they lose to another bad team in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament, it's going to be interesting how the committee looks at that. Bradley picked up a win. It's good for Bradley. Southern Illinois, unfortunately, now is next to last place, only ahead of Illinois State. Moving on to the Big East basketball, Creighton lost today against Xavier. Xavier picked up a huge win, which, if you were watching that game, they had some crazy uniforms. Honestly, looked like Pitt playing basketball out there. They won. That's really all I have to say about that. Creighton, it does not seem like is going to win. I mean, you got to hope for a loss here by Villanova if you're Creighton against Butler today. That's really all I have to say about that. Moving to the Pac-12, USC dropped to 3rd place today with their loss. I bet we see UCLA in the top 25 next week. I don't see there being many Pac-12 teams in the top 25. Oregon is thanking USC for getting them to 2nd place. Now, Colorado can beat UCLA. Like, let's be honest, Colorado has the capability. But they didn't. Actually, they did today. They beat UCLA, which, I mean, lucky if you're a UCLA fan. Like, right? Like, that's very lucky if you're a UCLA fan that you're still in 1st place after losing. Like, normally you don't lose and stay in 1st place, but they got that lucky draw. Colorado picked up a big win today against UCLA. Colorado's looking like a tournament team. I think we could see 4 teams come out of the Pac-12. I don't think Arizona deserves it. I honestly don't. They played a close game with Washington today. Like, that's the 2nd to worst team in the entire conference. Like, that's bad. Not good. Not good. Although USC did lose to Utah today. Utah's not one of the better teams in the conference. But I just don't think Arizona and Stanford are caliber teams to compete in the tournament. Moving on to WCC, Gonzaga beat LMU today, which is what most people expected. LMU is now in 3rd place. This is the tournament. This is what we're going to be seeing moving forward. And I hope you're excited, all you LMU fans, because you're the 3 seed. Yay. That's all I have to say about the WCC. Now, moving on to the games today, we have 1 in the Big East. We have 1 in the Big Ten. And we have 1 in the American Conference. So I hope you guys are excited for this. I'd like to talk about the Big East one first because that is the one that's first on the schedule. We have 11 o'clock, number 8, Villanova traveling to Butler. Villanova being favored by 11.5 points. Now, if you're a Creighton fan, this win kind of needs to happen for you. You need a Butler upset here because, I mean, you're really going to have to hope for Providence to beat them. If at least that way you can hold your fate in your hands. You can just... It'd be about 4% win. If they lose today, it's a 4% win percentage between Creighton and Villanova. You just got to beat them when you play them. And they do play them still on Wednesday. So you just got to beat them then, Creighton, and then you're fine. And then moving on, Butler with a win doesn't really move, but they can come very close to passing Georgetown, like about 0.5% percentage-wise, which really sucks for Butler, but this would be a huge win. But then you got to beat Creighton on Saturday, March 6th. So, difficult for Butler. Or you could just hope Georgetown loses. Although if they lose out and you win you go 1-1, you're not going to pass them. But I mean, that's something. Moving on to the Big Ten, we have Ohio State taking on Iowa. And honestly, weirdly enough, Ohio State has a possibility of dropping to 5th place today, which is very interesting. If you are a Purdue fan, you're happy either way. Ideally, you probably would like Iowa to win this game, so you're closer to Iowa. And Iowa still has to play some tough games left. So if you're a Purdue fan, obviously you're rooting for Iowa today, and then just hope they lose to either Nebraska or Wisconsin. But if you're a Purdue fan, I guess you're happy either way. But if Iowa is to beat with Ohio State would drop to a 12-7 record. Iowa would obviously have a 12-6 record, so they move ahead of them, right? They move ahead of Ohio State. Now, Purdue would be sitting at a very nice 11-6 record. They would move past Ohio State as well, dropping Ohio State to 5th place in the Big Ten. That's really what we're going to look at today in the Big Ten. That's only the real big moves today. If you move on to the American Conference, there is some possibility of change here. If you're a Memphis fan, you are a huge South Florida fan today. USF is your blood. You love them. You love them so much because if they beat Houston today, you get to 2nd place in the conference. Very, very prestigious spot for Memphis. Again, if you're Houston, just got to win out. Hope Wichita State loses to either Tulane or Temple, and then you can take the conference, but you really don't hold your own destiny in your hands, which would suck if you're a Cougars fan. But don't lose this one because then Memphis will pass you. If South Florida was to win it, they'd be able to pass UCF, which if you're a UCF fan, obviously you don't want. Now, Temple, they wouldn't drop below Temple with a loss. So basically, Temple is kind of stuck where they are. They're not going to pass anyone, especially since they only have 1 game left on their resume. This is really all I have to say. Temple is not going to pass South Florida, even if South Florida loses out. Well, actually, that's not true. South Florida loses out, and Wichita State, Temple upsets Wichita State, they'll pass them. But that's really the only opportunity. USF's really not going to move down with a loss. They can only gain stuff with a win. So who does GGB think is going to pull off the upset of the day? Me, personally, I'm really excited to see number 9 Iowa upset number 3 Ohio State. I'm going to be crossing my fingers throughout this game. Ohio State's only favored by 2 points in this game, so I'm hoping it pulls off the upset. Because if not, GGB has to put up do a dare in the comment section below, so just comment a dare. I mean, it's not that difficult. But, hey everybody, this is GGB saying adios amigos and go Hawkeyes.